Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to SlopeClub. It's time for another album discussion and review. As always, I'm your boy, and with me this episode, forever middle schoolers Josh and RJ. How do you do, fellow kids?
Hello, friend.
Hello,
I'm drinking.
youngster.
This is soda,
What's up?
not alcoholic
Hey, you
beverage.
shouldn't be drinking that. It's time to go back to some Stardust idols. Let's take it to Shiritsu Ebisu Chuugaku. We're going to talk about their album Ebicracy. Shiritsu Ebisu Chuugaku. They are, more known as Ebichu, right? That's like their shorter name. They're another Stardust group, as I mentioned before. We talked about Memorial Clover before, and these series of album discussions. They're kind of the little sister group, or they were created as, right? The little sister group to Memorial Clover. Is that? And so, Shiritsu Ebisu Chuugaku does not exist. It is a fictional middle school, guys.
Do not look for it on your idle travels. Do not go to Ebisu and look for this place.
Yeah, they just transfer, or they change schools, right?
Yeah.
That's,
Like when they get new members, it's we have a new transfer student.
yeah, new transfer. What's up? And so that's why if you look them up, they are numbered by their, I guess, assignment, right, or whatever. They have assigned numbers. So currently they have 6 members, and the last two, number 11 and 12, they joined back in 2014. So yeah, they've been pretty much the same lineup for a while, right? The last member left, or sorry, transferred out in 2018. So now they have been the set 6 members for a few years now. And so yeah, Ebichu, they're kind of known for this diverse, eclectic music style, and they've worked with a huge range of different artists. And so you can kind of hear that in this album, Ebicracy. This is their 4th album, released in 2017, 11 tracks. And it makes this one a little bit more, I guess, unique from their other releases, is that in the bonus CD of Ebicracy, each member has a featured song.
Yes.
There are 7 tracks where they one member has like a prominent role, whether it's like singing, or like in the music video, or like in the choreography or whatever. They are featured in some way. And so, yeah, Ebicracy. Have you guys heard of Shiritsu Ebisu Chuugaku, or do you guys listen to them?
Well, I'm sure RJ has listened to him looking at his shirt.
Yes, I am wearing an Ebichu shirt. It's just a big and then a small B on my butt area. Yeah, I would say that currently now, I'll date this video that at the end of August 2020, that Shiritsu Ebisu Chuugaku is probably my second favorite idol group.
Oh.
Oh,
I think they're very, not to take away from what the rest of this video is going to be, but I think they're very consistent, and they're very good.
yeah.
So yes, I have heard of them. I am the one that suggested this particular album review.
I've listened to their newer stuff, but I've never gone back and listened to their older stuff.
Okay, so you haven't heard this album before.
I've never heard this album or the songs on this album. I've heard 2019 and onwards,
Cool.
and I've enjoyed those, so for sure. So I was looking forward to this.
I'm kind of the same. I still am. I'm a big Momoclo fan, and so of course, naturally you just look for other groups that are in the same like franchise, right, or Stardust, right? And so when they made their sister group, like, okay, that's pretty cool. They got an interesting like concept. I mean, they're not the only idol group with the school idea, right? But yeah, I think for me, it's their music that was the most attractive thing about them.
Especially took notice after Gogo Nanani Sanire, right?
Oh yeah,
Which was, for those that don't know, it's they made up a post rock band, and it was just all the members. They made a couple of 2, 3 songs that are just like straight up not idol music.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
That first release, where like they made a band and it was like 3 drummers and 5 guitarists. There were still 8 members back then.
And it was supposed to be like a secret, like it wasn't them, right? But longtime fans easily picked it out, like, oh, dude, that's just Ebichu. But then like people like me and Boy were like, yo, who are these girls? This shit is tight. And then yeah, our friends were like, oh, dude, it's Ebichu. You should check them out.
Yeah, so like that kind of just shows the kind of idol group Ebichu is. They can't do anything. They're willing to do whatever, right? Like no style is NG for, at least musical style is NG for Ebichu. So
Which I think you hear some of that on this album as well.
so Josh, you haven't heard this album before. Was there any tracks that stood out to you?
I think there's two that I really like a tie for favorites.
Indecisive. Let's go.
I'll say the first one. It's Haruno Arashi.
Okay.
Ah,
On that one, I think it sounds like a lot of the newer stuff they put out. Like for me, it sounded the most familiar to me of like the recent 2 years. And one thing that I really enjoyed about this is how the guitar sounds in the song, and I think that's really the connection that I make with the newer stuff they make.
yeah, it's a pretty cool track. Is that breezy kind of alternative rock, kind of
For me, it's that kind of
post rock style?
yeah, that indie pop rock thing you get, kind of like, especially with that strong leading piano line. Reminds me of like Negoto or Kaif or like Start of the Day and shit like that.
I'm gonna bring up another idol group real quick. Have you guys heard of Sora Tob Sakana?
Ooh.
Yes, sir. I would
Yes, I
definitely
have.
make that comparison here.
Okay, I can see that. I can see
That is good
Mhm.
because it's the same producer.
But yeah, that was my other thing, was like, oh, dude, this sounds like Soratob Sakura, which goes for that alt pop rock.
Yeah, now that you say that, I do see the connection. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. This is also one of my favorite tracks, Josh. So
Yeah, the feature member I guess here is Maya Marika, and like I'm not like super familiar with all the members, but like I think she's one of the stronger vocalists in Ebichu, and so you can really hear like with those long notes in the vocal melodies, like in the chorus and stuff. So yeah, I think she really kills the track in the vocals.
And if I were to pick the other one that I really like, it would be Aiiro no Monday.
oh my guy,
Completely different style here.
right? This one is that throwback synthwave 80s mall pop kind of sound. Super fun.
Reminds me of YMO a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of got that like dreamy pastel vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wrote that down. It has like an older and like pastel. I wrote like for some reason I see pastel. Yeah.
I love it. This is probably up there in my top 2 as well. For whatever year this album came out, this was like on my idol list for the end of the year. It's a really good song.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun one. It stands out a bit from the rest because of the style, like the genre.
Yeah.
Feels more modern at the same time.
Like I wouldn't say it's a song that would have come out in the 80s, but it's obviously super influenced by the 80s.
Now talk about one of the ones I liked, Kimi no Mamade. Not super like unique instrumentally.
It's a pretty standard girl rock idol song.
Yeah, I got that vibe.
Very paspo.
Fun quirks like Airo no Monday, or like the cool guitar work in Haruno Arashi, but yeah, just pretty straightforward kind of J-rock. Like I guess if you imagine what a J-rock song sounds like
It's a little scandally, a little paspo-y,
yeah,
a little
the kind of stuff that you would hear in like an anime opening type of music. It's pretty straightforward, but like what I like the most about it are the vocal melodies. I think
oh, dude, the vocals are
really,
like the vocals are so strong on this song.
especially when you get to the chorus and then like it really picks up and it gets really.
One of the things about this album and this group in general is that even when they tackle like a genre or something that's kind of straightforward, like this song, right? Like Kimi no Mamade, it's nothing like, oh my god, this is life-changing music, but it's still a step above your typical, just because the vocals usually are much better, and the production too is usually like really solid. Even though it's like, oh, this is like your kind of typical, like we're saying, like um, just kind of pop rock song. But something about the production is like that step above that makes it feel even better. And I think you see that throughout this album.
All right, RJ, which ones do you like then?
So my favorite song, and this is one of my favorite Ebichu songs, period, is Kanjou Densha.
Oh,
Yes.
This song is so full and like well-rounded. It feels like a journey, and I don't know if it's the music video that like, because I know what the music video is like in the back of my head, if that plays a part, which they do go on like this train journey. um, but like if you listen to the beginning, right, it just starts off with the vocal, right, a little shaky, not even that polished, but she sings like the opening lines, and then it comes in with all the instrumentation, and then that first verse is literally just a dude hitting the same piano chord over and over and over, right? And then a little bit of a cymbal comes in right before it opens into this huge swell of music, right into the pre-chorus, right? And then the chorus comes in and it's all crazy. There's so much shit going on in the chorus. It's a miracle that it all works really well, because if you try to sit there and pick it all out, there's so many different little things going on in the chorus. And then it comes back to the verse and it's still simple, but it's a little updated from the first one. It's a little more jaunty. And then the whole song just feels very heartwarming, very full, and the girls just seem to be really enjoying it. And if you haven't seen the music video, you should, because I think this is one of those cases where the music video actually really adds to your enjoyment of the song.
I also enjoy this track. It's very positive, and it's like driving folky pop song. It comes off very like Japanese singer songwriter feel to it, especially in the like the beginning parts, right? But then when it gets to that chorus, when it's like it's very like idol style, right, and like cute and bouncy and stuff. And so yeah, it still has that like feel of it being an idol song, but it's very nice.
I think I would have enjoyed the song more if I listened to it by itself. I feel like when it comes after the previous song,
It does come at a weird time.
it's like I'm just like, oh, okay, all of a sudden, we just like went super down.
Myself and maybe Boy, if he remembers, it might be higher up on our palettes just because this was released kind of as an advanced single beforehand, and we reviewed it on the show and stuff before the album and stuff came out. So it might have stuck out in our minds before that too. If you're just hearing it for the first time right after the track that it comes after, yeah, it is kind of, I don't want to say overshadowed, but it's one of those things where it's a weird transition to go from track 2 to track 3 on this.
Like, I almost wish I listened to it by itself instead of just listening to the album, because I feel like I would have liked it a little bit more.
Since we mentioned it, let's just go ahead and talk about the track that came before this.
It comes like Kanjou Densha comes right after Seifuku Horenso Funk. It's just like this full on funk track.
Ooh, that chorus.
Right. It's like super groovy. It has a lot of attitude. There's like this call and response and stuff, right? In the chorus parts, and they're like shouting and stuff. And there's like all the slap bass, and so I got the horns too. So
bass is going off.
Oh, right. And the guitar just follows it up.
Yeah, they just pop off on this song. It's a lot of fun.
I think this song is just totally fun. Like in the beginning, I was like kind of like a little bit out of it, but then like once the singing came in, I was like, okay, I'm all in. Let's go for the song.
It's a great funk track. The production on it's like so bombastic, right? It's just like, bam, here you go. Here's some funk horns, courtesy of Zainichi Funk, who are an awesome band. Like I said, the bass is going off, and for me, it reminds me very much, and maybe it's a shout out to the Dance Man era of Hello Project. The chanting is even very reminiscent of Boy Kun's favorite Morning Musume song, Soda We're Alive.
Yes.
A good funk track is always welcome to me. On any album, idol album, you could play a Maizon Book Girl album for me. If there's a funk track thrown in there, oof, let's do it, guys.
Totally agree with you on that.
I don't see why they do that, but
me out of place, but I'd be
I
like, okay, let's go.
Right.
Slap in the bass.
album actually opens with like an intro track.
Yeah, it's a little instrumental thing with the girls kind of chanting. Uh, I think it's pretty fun, and I think it sets up good expectations for the album.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here we go. We're marching into the album, everybody. The parade.
And it's just a little 60-second instrumental thing, but you could still fuck this up if you really wanted to. Like, it could still be like a shitty 60 seconds, but it's like really fun, and you just listen to it, you're like, all right, yeah, let's go. And then, of course, right into that funk track. Oof.
But going through the rest here, we have Kurenai no Uta, cute pop rock track. I actually like this one.
I like it too. It has like all the things I really like. It's got the piano going off. It's got strings in the background, which I love strings. It's got big old fanfare, which Boy-kun likes too. And it's just kind of your more traditional kind of idol production, right? It even has that crazy guitar winkery over the bridge that every idol song needs. But again, like it ticks all these idol boxes. But at the same time, the girls sound fantastic. So it all works really well together.
Yeah, they really deliver when they need to. It's it's Judy and Mary, right? Because this is produced by their guitarist, so it really has that feel of like these not late, but like 90s, early 2000s like rock style that was kind of popular. But there's also I really like the transitions, right, with the horns, and like it would half tempo or half speed at times, right? And so it's really nice, and like it comes off as like a regular kind of pop rock track, but like the more you listen to it, there's a lot more stuff that makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, it sounds very likable.
Yeah, right. It's like positive,
Yeah, I could hear the song like a couple more times, and I could be like, okay, I could add this to my favorites list.
I like how it builds up, like from the verse to the chorus part. It really like makes you anticipate like the really nice melodies in the chorus.
Right.
So, it's just very like well produced, very solid track, and of course the Ebichu members deliver on the vocal performance too.
The next track is like completely different though. So the next track is Comic Girl, and it's more of a comedy idol track. Yeah, it's on the goofier side. It's produced by that comedy band. What's their name? Su Xing Chu or whatever. They have like a Chinese name, but they're kind of like a comedy band.
This is an interesting one. The featured member is Hirota Aika, and if you kind of know who she is a very like unique. She had a very unique. She's not in the group anymore, but she had a very unique like voice. Like hers, she would like do a really like buriko talking voice, right? Really squeaky like anime voice style, but then like she could sing like really deep, like completely different, and you can hear her do that in this track, right? Because it's the majority of the vocals is her.
See, knowing that little, I didn't know that little detail, so I don't know that was like her like going up and then down.
Yeah, so like it's pretty silly, right? But it lets her kind of like flex a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's a fun little like punkish track, I mean, you can hear it throughout the whole thing, just having fun. But
yeah, they're like shouting.
There's like still parts in it where they like really deliver on vocals still, and it's like.
It sounds like it might fall apart, but no, it's actually very like controlled.
The chorus where they all come together, is.
I think this album overall, it's you get more value if you're already a fan.
Yeah, like you can come in and enjoy these songs just by themselves. But yeah, probably if you're already a fan or you already have some background knowledge into Ebichu, it probably makes that much of the little Easter eggs here and there, right?
Now, see, for me, Kamiko for me was one of the weaker ones.
Yeah.
For me, I think it sounded like a little bit like too goofy, maybe. Like it sounded like the style of singing was kind of like that, right? Like a little goofy, and I think for me, it didn't really vibe with me that well. I do like the part where like in the pre-chorus, she starts singing like really well, I do enjoy that part, but then the rest of it I kind of felt like a little thrown off.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the tracks. If you're like not a fan, just like Josh, you'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, like I didn't know it was like the same person doing those two different voices. So
Yeah, but if you're already a fan, especially this particular member, you'd be like, "Oh, look at her go," you know. Now I as as always being like this, haha. But yeah, it's I can see why people wouldn't like it, I guess, right? So after that we get to like the slowest track in the album.
Yeah.
Take the tempo pretty low here. Sayonara, bye bye, mata ashita. Just chill.
It's all cute and folksy,
slower, dude. Yeah.
Little twangy guitar going on.
I like the
Songwriter.
guitar lines, man. Kind of
Yeah.
like surfy, like
yeah, kind of
country.
makes you
maybe,
wave a
you know?
little snaps right here and there.
Feels like I'm at the beach.
It's a good summer track. You throw this on as the sun's going down. You got the bonfire going.
That slide guitar, just listen to it.
Word?
Just relax. Ooh.
It builds up really slow, right? But then it eventually gets like jaunty.
Yeah.
Like the other tracks, this is produced by another artist, and so the band that produced this track, this is pretty much what they do. More relaxed, kind of chill style. Got a lot of clean guitar lines, right? So just chill, bruh.
Yeah, definitely have that vibe. Like I can see this in an anime opening, and then them just like relaxing, and then just like the camera slowly fades, like goes up, and then just a long.
I'd see it as the ending.
Yeah, the ending. My bad. I meant the ending.
Right, where you'd see like the characters just walking.
And just going through the different journeys they went through in the background.
And then we got Nanairo. Pretty solid pop track. Very kind of like maximal in the production, right? There's a lot of instruments.
I felt like this was kind of your standard idol mid-tempo track. But again, because of the girls' vocals and the production, it's like one step up. The horns and the piano like really do it for me. Which is, my MO, but
I wrote that in this one. Everyone, get your light sticks out. This is the song for it.
Yeah, it feels like they would maybe close with this, or at least before the encores, right?
Yeah.
Because it's such a full song, right? Like the instrumentation fills every space, especially in the chorus parts. And so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I enjoy the chorus of this. They do like little staccato things in there.
Yeah.
Building up to it too, right?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I'll say that. And I think during a concert it'd be more enjoyable for sure.
Yeah. With all the lights.
Like I could see this being a visual for sure.
And then we got the very last track that closes out the album, Forever Chubo. And this is
the most Stardust song, obviously, on the album.
Yeah, if you're familiar with any Stardust idol, you'd know this is Hyarain Mayamada Kenichi. If you've listened to Momiro Clover before, this is totally a Hyarain produced track.
Yeah, like 30 seconds into it, I'm like, yo, this is Hyarain, isn't it? Like,
he's like, I'm gonna throw in everything in this song.
Everything he wants to do.
Every genre, it's like frantic.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's chaotic.
Yeah.
It's a good closer because it has a lot of energy, right? So it like leaves you with you're like, oh man, there was a lot going on, and it's very much in line with I guess the middle school gimmick, right? Because they should be full of energy and chaotic.
Has all the usual shenanigans from a Hyarain track, right? Everyone's like shouting.
I like the little UFO shout out in the middle.
Right, and that's just the vocals.
Oof, the production.
There's like all the instrumentation and stuff under that, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, you either like Hyarain stuff or you don't. So
Yeah, I think you guys like know a little bit more about my taste now, and you guys know if it's too complex, I usually don't like it too much. So for me, this was a little bit too much for me. There's like certain aspects here, certain aspects there, then some electronic sounds here, a UFO reference thrown in there. For me, I was just kind of like, okay, where am I supposed to be looking at for the song? So, though I do have to mention the guitar solo in this is really good.
That's the kind of, I feel that's kind of the point of like these songs, right? You're just kind of like chaos, Just like, oh, what's going on? Oh, why does it sound like this now? Why are they yelling at me?
Well, I mean, I could also see this turning someone off, if especially if they're not familiar with Stardust or Hyadain in general. Because you listen to this whole album, right? And none of these songs, even the goofy comic girl, doesn't sound like this, right? And then all of a sudden, this is just thrown at you at the very end. I could see some people be like, "Oh shit!" Like, should have just ended with Haruno Arashi, dude. Like,
Yeah, not being totally familiar with Stardust, I was thinking like this is kind of like a little bit reminds me of Denpagumi because I've heard of them before, but then like toned down a little bit, like not as crazy, but like still being a little everywhere. So like that's the vibe I got, not listening to Stardust or anything.
Yeah, there's definitely similarities. Dempa music, right? It was just like chaotic.
I mean,
Stuff like that.
Morning Musume. Well, Momotaro Clover has these tracks too,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's kind of, I guess, one of their hallmarks. But as they get older, they do them less and less. So
So, I mean, it's the same with Ebichu now, right? If you compare this album to one of their newer tracks, there's definitely like the maturity, right? Because they're no longer middle schoolers.
right.
Yeah, that's Ebichu. You've gone through all the tracks. Ebicracy. It is time to talk about our impression and give our rating.
So I think this is a great album, and I think I reviewed it for Basugasu back when we were doing our Twitter reviews. Um, and it's a great album as a whole. If you listen to the whole thing, it's great. Everything's solid. Um, but to me, there's only like a really few standout tracks that I would be like, oh man, I need this like on a rotation or a playlist or anything. But if other songs came up, it wouldn't be bad, kind of thing. For me, Kanjou Densha, Airo no Monday, I always remember those songs. I like them a lot. The other ones, even though I've heard this album plenty of times, going back and listening, I still had to write notes down because I don't remember all these songs, even though they are good. One thing I do like, say is that I think at least half this album is easily performed by a live band. Just saying, Ebichu, take a live band with you. And one of the things we kept going back to was how good the girls sound on this album. Their vocals are really top notch, and I think it's really cool. They can turn it on and off. They can make it a little more idly when they need to. They can be a little more, vocal prowess when they really need to. They have goofy shit on here that when they need to do it, and I think that's a plus for them. Anyway, all told, I really do like this album, so I'm gonna give it a 8, an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining album. Mostly settle in pop and pop rock styles. So I'll give my rating a 7 out of 10. I think it doesn't quite show off how diverse they can really be, and so it felt more of like an album that's for their fans, right? Because of all these little like features and of the members and like these little like kind of Easter eggs, I guess, and like these little like things you would hear as a fan and be like, oh yeah, that's that member or whatever. But the tracks are still pretty solid. None of these tracks are like boring to me. But at the same time, it like in previous albums, like before Ebicracy, they have gone like to I guess more out there genres, especially with go nanani sanire, right? They've done like weirder stuff, and that came before this album, and so yeah, and then if you listen to albums after this, the track list is more eclectic. That's kind of their biggest strengths. They always work with like different actual bands or artists, and so like their sound can go anywhere. So like they can do like something out of left field and it wouldn't sound weird because it's Ebichu. And also I think it's because the members' vocals really like bring everything together. Like they deliver with their performances. They're very adaptable. Yeah, even if the song's like really weird, like their vocals can like live up to whatever weird production that's given to them, you know. This album shows off the members' vocals very well, I think, compared to like some of the albums that I listened to before this one, that were released before this one. And so that's like the biggest strength in this album for me. Like the vocal melodies especially are very good in this album, and so the members lived up to it. So yeah, I gave it a 7 Ebicracy.
All right, so when I originally listened to this, I was gonna give it a 6 out of 10, but after listening to everything we've talked about, it is a 7 out of 10. And I think, and I think people watching this, which is I think is a good reason why we're doing this, is so people get like our insights, but also learn a little bit more, get a little bit more detail, and hopefully after people listen to the album and then watch this, they can actually learn a little bit more and see if that like alters their score or not. But I did enjoy this album. I feel like if this was like a road, I feel like there's a lot of like little mini stops. Like the first stop would be with after the funk song, I feel like there's a stop because it slows down, and then it starts picking up gain again, and then it goes to Comic Girl. It kind of slows down for me. It's like, okay, like where am I? And then it keeps on going, and then you expect a smooth ride throughout, and then you get into chaos at the end.
It's a car wreck at the end.
Yeah, you feel like you crashed into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like this is nothing to like go run and tell everyone I know about this album, but I don't feel like it's mediocre or it's average. Because remember, for our scoring, 5 is average, and 10 is like the best album. So I think it fits nicely at 7, and especially after hearing everything about like the group and everything, and like all the stuff that they go through and all these songs, I feel like I'm comfortable with the 7. So that's what I'll give it. And with all of our scores together, that makes it a 7. Look at that.
Ebichu, Ebicracy, a 7 out of 10. Thank you.
So yes, that was Ebicracy from Shiritsu Ebisu Chuugaku. If you enjoy this, please go ahead and leave a like down below and comment what you thought about the album if you took a listen to it. See if our discussion changed your opinion on it. And you can check out the next video to see what we think about the next album. But if not, you can go ahead and check out our old album discussions and see what you think about those. But that does it for this time. Catch you all next time.
Bye.